going on, Misfit Nation? Welcome back to another episode of the Misfit Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, Matt, the Misfit. This is your Monday Night Raw review from Chicago, Illinois, March the 25th, 2024. I almost said 25. That's next year. My God, what a Monday Night Raw. I am Matt the Misfit. We're going to go over all of this incredible fucking show that I cannot wait to get into. Probably the best Raw of 2024. Actually, it is no probably. It is the best Raw of 2024. The best Raw in literal years. This show had everything from blood, pipe bombs, incredible professional wrestling, storytelling, things making sense, background stuff that made sense, things you didn't even think you probably have seen. My God, I cannot wait to get into this episode of Monday Night Raw. Please hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. Comment down below what you thought about this amazing episode of Monday Night Raw in the description, or in the comments down below. Follow the other social media platforms, which will be in the link or in the description down below. Pile Driver Pulse on Twitter, Misfit Wrestling Pod on Instagram. Follow the other audio outlets: Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and Pandora, and right here on YouTube.com/@Misfit Wrestling Podcast. My God, I don't even know where do I begin with this show. Where do I begin? I don't even know where to begin on this show here, because I loved everything about this show, right? Everything. Oh my God. So, Monday Night Raw, this was from Chicago. We saw the return of CM Punk. Obviously, we now have an idea, and we do know what he's doing at WrestleMania. He will be in Philadelphia for WrestleMania. He will be involved in the World Heavyweight Championship match on night 2. We'll talk about how involved he will be when we get to that segment. But Monday Night Raw opened with the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, after SmackDown's horrible episode of Raw, episode of SmackDown, which was not, outside of maybe the Io Naomi match, and maybe like, let me look here, maybe, let's see, what else was on there? Just Io, and outside of Io and Naomi, and the AJ Styles, LA Knight, Live PD-esque thing that they did, SmackDown was a shit fucking show. I think Triple H heard our cries from Friday night and said, okay, bam, and just gave us this fucking masterpiece that he's been cooking up all weekend. Goddamn. We even had The Rock on the show. The Rock, who was not advertised for the show. Surprise appearance. We'll talk about that. I'm excited to talk about that. You guys should be excited to hear about it. Because Monday Night Raw opened up with the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Asks Chicago what they want to talk about. Says that he could say nothing for the time being, or say nothing now, that the time is basically the time for talk is over. WrestleMania is 2 weeks away. He addresses Roman Reigns and says he had a lot to say over the past week. Says Roman referred to him as a politician on the Pat McAfee show. Says Reigns then said that he made promises he can't keep. He says Chicago should know more than any other city that he always keeps his promises. Cites him promising to be the best man of a fan's wedding. Attending a 5-year-old's birthday party as an example, which those are things he absolutely said he was going to, like, he said these things at house shows. He's given away, I think he gave away a chair. He's given away a Christmas tree. He's given away a damn table. He might start giving away the wrestling ring. He might start giving away the fucking Trons, the billboard Trons that hang up on over the ring. This dude will do whatever, you know. But he said these are examples. So he never asks for anything in return for doing good deeds for the fans, and says he dresses, acts, and speaks the way he does for one reason. He pretends to be the champion because the champion isn't always there. Bam, right there. There, a nice shade thrown at Roman Reigns, who's never there, by the way. I want to point that out. Cody tells Roman flat out that he hates his guts and says it's fine with him if Reigns hates him too. Says it's his fault that Reigns won't be facing The Rock at WrestleMania. And it's also his fault for winning the Royal Rumble 2 years in a row. Says that he's learning from he's learned from pointing at the WrestleMania sign that he can't do it alone. Says that although he doesn't ask for fans for anything, he needs them to do something. Ask the crowd if they'll ride with him and fight with him at WrestleMania. So, great stuff from Cody Rhodes. Much better than the promo he cut on SmackDown, if I'm being completely honest here. Which I wish they would talk about this record that Roman is nowhere near breaking when it comes to Hulk Hogan's record. They need to bring that up. We need Cody to say, "Look, you're talking about this record that you're not even nowhere near. You've only been the WWE champion for 721 days." Or is it 721 or 741? In order for you to pass Hulk Hogan's record, you need to hold that title for 600 more days. Not the Universal Championship. The Universal Championship shouldn't even be what you're worried about. And whatnot, all that stuff. So The Rock's music hits. Didn't see that coming here. By the way, I love to hear Hollywood Rock's theme back here. He comes out of the ring. Crowd starts chanting, "Holy shit." Because this is the first one-on-one interaction we've seen between The Rock and Roman and Cody Rhodes since the SmackDown after since this whole thing started with the SmackDown after the Royal Rumble. They stare each other down. The Rock whispers something into Cody's ear, which we found out what it is earlier on. He says, "Tonight I'm going to make you bleed." Leaves, and that was it. First, I'm like, did they really bring The Rock out for that? No, they didn't bring him over just for that, because we found out what he was going to do, and my God, holy shit. Jackie Redmond catches up with The Rock, asks Rock what he said to Cody, and Rock tells her, "Why don't you go ask Cody yourself?" So there is that great stuff. I'm not going to tie everything in together. I'm going to go through the show as it is. So we'll save the good stuff from that at the end of the show. We then head over to the Judgment Day, who are backstage with all the stuff. Rhea basically tells Dominic, next time tell me you're going to do all that shit that you did with Ray, and I could have been there for you and whatnot. So I'm loving the little sprinkles of details that they're planting the seeds of the future Rhea Ripley babyface turn, which is good. But Judgment Day is strategizing about JD McDonagh's next upcoming match with Ricochet. Priest shares that he has a plan to turn the odds in Judgment Day's favor at WrestleMania. Like I said, Rhea makes it clear that she wants JD to win his match with Rey Mysterio. Dominic says that he assures her that he will also help him do so, which didn't end up happening. Then we have this phenomenal match between Ricochet and JD McDonagh, probably JD's best match on the main roster since coming up to the main roster, joining. Oh, no, that's not true. Hold on, I take that back. He had a great match with Sami Zayn on the kickoff show for Crown Jewel last year. But this is his best TV match since joining the main roster. And these two are great. At one point, Ricochet lands a few strikes and JD McDonagh delivers a shoulder to his midsection, flies off the top rope, all that stuff there. Good stuff here. Shooting star press integrated from Ricochet. McDonagh catches Ricochet with a standing Spanish fly and a brain buster, which I love seeing. I'm glad to see the brain busters being brought back into WWE. Sits him on the top turnbuckle. But Ricochet, I don't know what he was going to try to do here, but Ricochet does a fucking reverse Hurricane Run off the top rope into the recoil, which looked fantastic. Goes with pin. Dominic does his stuff here. There was a great spot where JD goes for that side suplex, that Saito side suplex that he does, and somehow, I don't know how the fuck Ricochet does the things that he does, but he turned it into a fucking Canadian destroyer. That reminded me so much of when Adam Cole turned the bitter end into the Panama Sunrise at Survivor Series a few years ago. Excellent match, by the way. If you haven't seen the Adam Cole Pete Dunne match from Survivor Series, one of the best singles matches of the show. But that's what that reminded me of, and it was great stuff here. So, like I said, the Canadian destroyer here ascends the top rope. Dominic hops on the ring apron and grabs Ricochet's attention. Dominic gets ejected from ringside. Ricochet ends up hitting a shooting star press on JD and gets the win here. Great stuff. Great match. Man, Ricochet is just unbelievable. The only thing I wish they would do with the Ricochet is give him a character. Because like him doing he's a great professional wrestler, don't get me wrong. He's not very good at the promos, and he could be a believable babyface. He just needs a character to get behind. You know what I'm saying there? But other than that, great match here. I enjoyed this. Next up, we hear from CM Punk, which I was a little surprised that Punk wasn't the main event of the show. And then I realized, and then I'm like, I seen Nakamura and Jey Uso being the main event. And then somebody tipped me off with what's going to go down in the ending segment. I'm like, oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense here. So we get CM Punk coming out here. He says he has a lot to say and a lot of business to get to, but he feels good to be back in Chicago. Says everyone's been asking if he'll be at WrestleMania, and the answer will be yes, he'll be at WrestleMania. He says he's not medically cleared to wrestle, then ponders the possibilities of what he could do at WrestleMania. Says that he could be the host of WrestleMania. He could be special commentator for WrestleMania. He could be a referee for WrestleMania, because there might be a championship match that might need some officiating. He then addresses Pat McAfee's interview with Roman Reigns, addressing that Roman says he's been feeling like he says he has a feeling that they'll see each other down the line, whenever that is. Here brings up Seth Rollins, takes a few jabs at him, though he mentioned Seth Rollins about him talking about him. Rollins really technically hasn't been talking about Punk that much. That was a little iffy line there from Punk, but I'll let it slide here because this was a phenomenal segment here. Calls out The Rock next, and call back to his incredible promo where he fucking destroyed The Rock with the line, "Your arms are too short to box with God." And I fucking died. I'm like, yes, call back. Then he gets the Drew McIntyre. McIntyre's music hits. Punk says, turn that shit off. No one wants to hear that shitty ass music. Get your punk ass in the ring. Or actually, he said, get your bitch ass in the ring here. I'm not cleared to wrestle, but I'm not looking to wrestle. Get your bitch ass in the ring is what he said. He said, Punk said, well, that's what Punk said here. McIntyre says he would love to go down there and beat Punk's ass, but reminds Punk of what happened the last time we were in the ring, because storyline wise, which he stated here, that he put out, took out Punk's arm and whatnot. He says, last time this happened, I told you I prayed for this to happen, and it did. He shows the back of his shirt where it says "Injure CM Punk." Punk says, I didn't need to put somebody's name on another man's name on merchandise to get over or whatever it was there, which I'm like, ooh, that was a good line there. Says Punk may be straight. McIntyre says Punk may be straight edge, but he sure as hell spends a lot of time in rehab. Which, that was juicy there. McIntyre then says that he doesn't hate Punk because he completes him. Little reference to The Dark Knight, if you remember the scene where the Joker is getting interrogated by Batman, and Joker says, I don't want to kill you. You complete me, is what he said. And I'm like, when I heard them, like, yeah, that's absolutely a Joker line, because, as we know, CM Punk is a massive nerd for comic books. It's beautiful stuff there. McIntyre goes on to say is that he is his muse. He invites Punk to sit have a front row seat to his World Heavyweight Championship match against Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. He calls himself the chosen one. This was a great line because I was not expecting them to even bring this up here. Punk questions who appointed McIntyre the chosen one. And I'm like, oh my God, that's a straight fucking Vince McMahon reference if I've ever heard one there. That was the first Vince McMahon reference on WWE television in forever. So there's that. And no, he's not coming back, guys. Stop with that bullshit here. It was a reference to him. It was more like a jab at him, but also to help the storyline here. Punk question, I've already mentioned that. And McIntyre amps up the ante. Punk then invites McIntyre. McIntyre invites Punk to be the guest commentator during his WrestleMania match. Seth Rollins' music hits, and Punk gives us another meme here of getting on his knees and hitting his head, the microphone up against his head. Rollins welcomes the fans to Monday Night Raw and says that now that's been established whose show it is, and has been and will be. Then says if Punk and McIntyre had a brain cell between them, they would know they don't get to make decisions about the World Heavyweight Championship match at WrestleMania if they aren't in it. Says they may Punk says well, it may be your show, but this is still my town. Rollins continues, says that they may as well poll Chicago since they didn't ask for his opinion or their opinion, and ask them if they want Punk to be the special commentator for WrestleMania. Chicago cheers before Rollins tells Punk that he doesn't think about him, which is sort of true, but not really. Says that Punk hasn't crossed his mind since the last time they were in the ring together. Then says it doesn't make a difference if he's a guest referee or the guest commentator, because he did mention the guest referee, and basically says, "Oh, he's got one arm." And then Punk gets on the fucking mat and starts using his good arm to do the pinfall, and he says, "Well, I don't think you'd want me to be. I don't think I could be impartial to two dipshits in Seth and Drew." And McIntyre's like, "PG, brother." It was great stuff. But Rollins continues and says, Punk sees him, says everyone needs him, but Punk needs Rollins to have a WrestleMania moment. He says the irony of Punk narrating his finest hour is not lost on him, then tells him to do whatever. Then tells him to do whatever at WrestleMania. He warns him to stay out of his way. Punk declares himself as the special guest commentator for WrestleMania during that match. Says that he'll do something that neither Rollins or McIntyre could do. That's to make them interesting. Punk says, "Hit my music." He may have given Rollins the bird. I don't know. It was pretty funny though. McIntyre tells Punk. He says, "Turn Punk's music off." Berates Punk as Punk walks. Punk's like, "Fuck this, I'm gone." He tells Punk that he's his number one fan. Rollins then blindsides McIntyre with a super kick, and then there's a curb stomp. Then Rollins brushes past Punk up the ramp as that segment ends. And this is so good. This is so good. But we now know at WrestleMania, Punk will be at commentary for this match on night 2. My guess is either McIntyre straight up wins the title cleanly, or Rollins or Punk what's the word I'm looking for? Punk costs Rollins the match. I don't know. One way or another, I think the title's coming off of Seth Rollins anyways. How we get there remains to be seen, but we are gonna find out next Sunday at WrestleMania. We had Ivy Nile taking on Candice LeRae. This match didn't last very long. This was basically to build more of this new heel character for Candice LeRae, which really needed. She feigned a knee injury and then beat the shit out of Ivy Nile, rolling her up, put her feet on the ropes against the 3. Indy Hartwell wasn't too thrilled about it, but Candice runs up the ramp, jumping for joy and all that stuff here. But it was great stuff. Great stuff there. I'm enjoying what they're doing with Candice LeRae so far. She really needed this character change, and building it up is great stuff. I don't know where it's going to go to, where it's leading to, what the end game is, but I'm intrigued. So, backstage, we see R-Truth, The New Day, The Miz, and DIY. They're all hanging out backstage, getting ready. DIY is getting ready for their match with The New Day. In this background, now this was these two never interacted again throughout the night. I didn't even know he was there. Paul Heyman is seen talking to Drew McIntyre. For what reason, I don't know, but I'm intrigued to find out where that goes. You know, maybe Drew gets involved during the tag team match on night 1. Who knows? We'll see where that goes there. New Day and DIY go to a no contest as the Judgment Day starts just rushing the ring. Starts getting it was a double disqualification, all that stuff. Judgment Day starts beating down everyone. Miz gets in the ring, but Priest levels him with a South of Heaven. Then a dragged Truth into the ring. Priest hits the Razor's Edge. Balor follows it up with a coup de grace. And Judgment Day kind of needed this here because right now, WrestleMania, the World Tag Team title match for WrestleMania is the 6-pack ladder match. Right now, we got Priest and Balor, who they're going to defend the titles against Awesome Truth, New Day, DIY, and 2 names to be determined. That's going to be determined on SmackDown between the first match being Legado del Fantasma and British Strong Style, and then the other match being Street Profits and Grayson Waller. I'm going to make a prediction right now that British Strong Style, Pete Dunne, and Tyler Bate are going to get the win there. Because I see the LWO helping and costing Legado that match, as well as I'm going to see Cross and AOP cost Street Profits that match to possibly set up a 6-man 8-person tag match probably at WrestleMania between Final Testament and whatever this and I guess I'm going to call them the Hurt Business. Fuck that, because they don't have a name right now. So they have a name, but it's not that great if I'm being honest here. But so I think the last two slots are going to go to British Strong Style and Grayson Waller, Austin Theory. So what was originally supposed to be Andrade El Idolo versus Ivar. Ivar was not medically cleared to wrestle, which sucks because I was looking forward to that match, but we'll get that match eventually. It'll be great. It instead ended up being Giovanni Vinci with Ludwig Kaiser. Before the match, Gunther is chatting with Kathy Kelly, basically saying, telling Sami he can't beat me. He's not. He can't. Is what it is here. So this was not a long match, but it was fine. It was good. I enjoyed it. We go to a commercial break at some point here. Andrade delivers a pair of dragon screws on Vinci. Andrade kips up, hits that spinning back fist, which was great. The Meteora in the corner, and hits the twisting the neck breaker that he does called the Messenger, I think it was called, for the win. And Andrade gets another win under his belt here in WWE. He's looking. Andrade under Triple H is looking so much better than what they were doing with Andrade under Vince McMahon. I still think that he could, it does look like they're going to do a tag match at WrestleMania, and I mentioned LWO earlier. I think it's going to be Andrade, because later on we see Andrade speaking with Dominic. So what I think is going to happen is we get to SmackDown this Friday. That Andrade is probably going to help out Rey Mysterio. I think it's going to be Andrade and Rey Mysterio versus Dominic and Santos Escobar. That feels like the direction they're going to go. If that's the direction they're going to go with, I'm fine. Those four could be a great, should be good. But that looks like what they're going to go with on that there. Yeah. Ooh, excuse me. Then we go to, by the way, before the CM Punk thing, they threw back to the a commercial for the Bray Wyatt documentary that airs on next Monday, which I will be watching. I will be talking about that on. Okay, I'll talk about a little bit about it on. Let's see. I got to figure out how I'm going to do this. I'll talk about that during the Raw review next week. So keep an eye out for that one. Or I might just do a separate review for that and put it up on this channel exclusively. Who knows? Well, I'll let you guys know. But we come out with Rhea Ripley and Dominic Mysterio Ripley breaking the internet last night with her ass, which is funny. Like, I saw so many fucking stuff. I'm like, she knows what she's doing. Let me some Rhea Ripley. So Rhea says she feels like she's not getting enough attention. Oh, really now? Says a certain someone isn't giving her such. She's talking about Becky Lynch, all this stuff here about Becky not giving her full attention. Dominic goes on to say Becky, and then Becky's music comes out here. So some of it was not very good here, but near the end of it, this is probably the best part of this here. So she's talking about, so Becky's like, I'm about to give you a new experience at WrestleMania and whatnot here. Best part of this was Rhea saying the cockroach thing was not good executed, but I have to make the analogy here to talk about here. She says, Rhea says Becky reminds her of a cockroach. That she's hard to kill, but not impossible. She says that she won't take it that far at WrestleMania because she wants Becky alive to sit on the couch with her daughter to watch her call Rhea mommy. I'm like, I'm like, Triple H, what the fuck are you cooking? Who pissed you off today? Becky gets emotional here. She gets a little bit real here, and I loved the emotion that was being. I'll talk about it here. So Becky warns Rhea against to not invoke her daughter's name again. Rhea says, or not Rhea. Becky says Rhea may find this a joke, but it isn't to her. She says her father would be most proud of her because her father died before Becky had her daughter, and her dad never got to see her become a mom. So she's getting emotional here, crying her eyes out here, getting a little start getting pulling Cody. I'm joking. I'm kidding. Don't fucking come at me here. Says there's nothing respectful about Rhea Ripley. She tells Rhea that neither of them will be the same again at come WrestleMania. Becky and Rhea getting each other's face before Dominic tries to insert himself. Dominic gets the shit knocked out of him, which was phenomenal. Rhea then lands a kick onto Becky. This is after they've been brawling to the outside here. Checks on Dominic. Then the two start brawling up the ramp before Dominic and officials separate them. The last 10 minutes of this segment was great stuff. Loved it. I'm very excited. I'm very pumped for the match at WrestleMania. Do not add Liv Morgan to this match. I'm telling you, I'm for God's sakes, do not add Liv Morgan to this match. After the promo, after the realness that became with Becky, after Rhea said something about her daughter, you don't need to add Liv Morgan to this. Just leave it alone. We're getting ready to do Sami Zayn versus Bronson Reed. Before that, we had Chad Gable try to apologize for what happened last week, and Sammy's like, yeah, I get it. I get it. Y'all think I can't beat Gunther. Now Gunther thinks I can't beat Bronson Reed and whatnot, and Chad's like, Gable's like, stop it. Just stop. Get your head out of your ass. Go out there and prove to the world that what Gunther is saying is bullshit. But that's not what happened here. Gunther came out here and this is basically more of a distraction from Gunther here. Sami lost Tsunami Splash because, again, Sami is distracted by Gunther, and the distraction cost him for the 1-2-3 as Bronson Reed the Tsunami. Backstage, we see Jamie Uso and Solo confront Jay as Jay's getting ready for his match with Nakamura. But the other part of this, which I thought was great, because this segment also had Andrade and Dominic seen in the far background here. But we see a frustrated Sami vent to Chad Gable about letting Gunther get to his head. Gable tells Sami that Gunther has planted seeds of doubt. Says that Zayn's one of the best that's ever been in the ring, that he's ever been in the ring with. Because that last segment from Raw last week 2 weeks ago, was fantastic stuff. Says that he can't let Gunther get in his head. Then he needs to come up with a different approach. Says that they can talk if he wants to take a different approach. And a lot of people are like, what's happening here? Well, I can tell you what's happening here, because they're in Philadelphia for WrestleMania, right? They're doing two storylines right now, which has the feel of a certain Balboa, and that being Rocky Balboa. What they're doing with Sami Zayn and Chad Gable right now is a thing called Austin Creed or Apollo Creed and Rocky. Guess who Apollo Creed is in the situation? It's not Sami Zayn. That is Chad Gable. Guess who Rocky is in the situation? Sami Zayn. I think the reason they're doing all this is because, let's be real, Sami Zayn I think is going to be beating Chad. Originally, I wasn't so sure if Sami was going to beat Gunther at WrestleMania, but now the way they're building this up and they're having Sami get advice Apollo Creed style from Chad Gable. This all signs to me point to Sami Zayn winning the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. And then that sets up a eventual heel turn with Chad Gable, who is angry, who ends up being frustrated that Sami Zayn got to be the one to beat Gunther and not him. It's going to be great. I'm very excited for it here. Jey Uso's getting ready to go out to the ring. Gets stopped by Seth Rollins. Rollins tells him, something doesn't feel right about tonight. Tells him, if you need anybody, me and Cody's got your back. Wishes him luck for his match with Nakamura. So the match itself was but this match right here with Nakamura and with Nakamura's been in a lot of main event matches on Raw since Triple H took over creative and Nakamura became a heel, which I like, by the way. I'm still taking this version of Nakamura. I know a lot of people have cooled on it. Heel Nakamura under Triple H is so much better than Vince Nakamura. Heel Nakamura under Vince. Just saying. But this match was not what people were going to talk about because this match was an afterthought the moment it was announced. I'm like, when they announced this match on social media yesterday, I was like, why is this match happening again? Because it's a random match. They're not really feuding with each other. And then when everything went down tonight on Raw, I'm like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. So Jimmy and Solo jumped the barricade, but out of nowhere, Cody and Seth start evening the odds. They start taking them down. Cody and Jimmy are brawling up the ramp to the backstage area. Solo, I think, is taken out by Seth Rollins. From behind, Drew McIntyre sends him crashing. Sends Rollins crashing into the post. Then hits a future DDT on him. Back in the ring, Nakamura tries to lock in a sleeper hold. Then he tries to go for the exploder. The reverse exploder that Nakamura does. Che follows up with a super kick, then a spear for the win. Jey Uso is staying in the ring celebrating. He doesn't, and then this was it for Jey Uso for the remainder of the show here. We go to the backstage area where Cody and Jimmy are beating the shit out of each other. Cody sends Jimmy out of the arena. Solo goes after him. Cody begins beating down Solo Sikoa. But The Rock, out of nowhere, blindsides Cody. Sends Cody headfirst into a trash can. Then sends the trash can bouncing off of Cody. So he did all that stuff there. They're just beating the crap. He's just beating the shit out of Cody here. Throws Cody to the outside of the arena. Chicago at this point is pouring down rain, which added a lot to this segment here. Cody is Rock is just berating the Chicago crowd. He brawls with Cody between the production trucks in the pouring rain. Tells Chicago fans at home and Cody's mom to look at what he's done to their hero. He begins targeting Cody's leg, then sends Cody crashing into the production truck. Rock continues to run his mouth, which this helped what was going on here because Cody began bleeding. Cody finally gets to do a blade job on Raw, in WWE, which probably he fucking was thrilled about when he was told by Triple H, like, yeah, you're gonna bleed tonight. And he's like, the hard way. or at the blade or whatever. It was, but Rock sends Cody's head bouncing out the production truck. He slaps Cody, then shows off the weight belt that says Mama Rhodes on it, which is fucking hilarious. Says that he's a man of his word, then wipes the blood off of Cody's head, wipes onto the belt as he sends Cody crashing into the production truck once again, then tells Cody's mom to look at her son as the show goes off the air. I actually thought for once, because it was alleged, I'm like, they're not going to do the fucking spot with Cody and fucking Austin, are they? They didn't though, but they convinced me. They almost got me there, but yeah, this show was fucking incredible. Holy shit! I can't tell you. How excited I was to review this show. Usually I'll forget I'll talk about it on another show, on Sunday show, whatever. But I was very excited to actually review this episode of Monday Night Raw because this show was fantastic. My God, from top to bottom, the best Raw of 2024 so far. And they're going to be in Brooklyn for Raw next week, and I believe The Rock and Roman Reigns. Yes. Roman Reigns actually is going to show up on WWE on Raw. He remembers Raw that exists. He's going to show up on there, which is going to be a thing that's going to happen here. Let's see what we got here. So The Rock is going to be there. Cody is going to be. Rock's got a new render. Look at that. Cody's going to be there. I think CM Punk is going to be there because it's the final Raw before they go to Philadelphia for WrestleMania. And here is the updated current card for WrestleMania as it stands here. Night 1's main event is Roman Reigns and The Rock versus Cody and Seth. Night 2 is going to have Logan Paul defending the U.S. Championship against Randy Orton and Kevin Owens in a triple threat match. Rollins defending the World Championship against Drew McIntyre, and Roman Reigns defending the Universal title against Cody Rhodes. Matches that do not have an official night. Io Sky defending the Women's Championship against Bayley. Rhea defending the Women's World title against Becky Lynch. Gunther defending the IC title against Sami Zayn. The six-pack ladder match for the WWE Tag Team titles. Judgment Day is Damian Priest and Finn Balor defend against R-Truth. Awesome DIY, Awesome Truth, and New Day, with the two other teams to be determined on SmackDown. That being Legado del Fantasma. Out of the four teams of Legado del Fantasma, British Strong Style, Street Profits, and Waller and Austin Theory. Jimmy Uso versus Jey Uso. LA Knight versus AJ Styles those are the official matches that will possibly be added to the show. Andrade and Rey Mysterio versus Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio and the Kabuki Warriors, depending how injured, if at all, Asuka is. We're either going to get a 6-woman tag match or a regular tag team title match with the Kabuki, with Damage Control defending the women's tag team titles, and maybe Bianca Belair versus Tiffany Stratton. We'll see. But that's all I got. Man, what an episode of Monday Night Raw. Man, so you did see what I said on Twitter. I did say that the SmackDown reviews outside of next week is going to go now over to the Pile Driver Pulse and just talk about those shows on there, because those shows have not been delivering as much as I would like them to. Damage Control is still a highlight of the shows for me, but other than that, they'll have a great match every now and then there, but that'll be on that will be on the show for the Sunday show. The Rock, I believe, will be on SmackDown. I think maybe will The Rock be on SmackDown this week? Let's find out. I don't think he will be, but I can look. I can look here. Let me see. I guess not. I know it's not. It's not many picking it. I don't know if he is going to be on the show or not. Because it's not doing. It's not showing me anything. But we got Raw. We got Dynamite from Quebec City, Canada, on Wednesday night. I don't know if it's gonna be a double take. I don't know if it's gonna be a live thing or not. But we do know the 3 matches that were announced for the show. We got Will Ospreay taking on Katsuyori Shibata, which should be a fucking banger. Another banger that should be on the show is Konosuke Takeshita taking on Swerve Strickland. Those 2 matches are going to be fucking amazing. And then you got the Young Bucks versus Private Party in a AEW World Tag Team Title quarterfinal tournament match. They haven't announced anything for Rampage, but that's Dynamite this week. Other than that, yeah. Again, like I said, things that happened on the show were great. Like I said, Cody getting the shit kicked out of him by The Rock and then making him bleed. The awesome segment with Seth, Punk, and Drew. Andrade being Andrade, which looks great. The Rhea Becky segment was great. Heel Candice is doing some fantastic stuff. Jey Uso's all is great. The opening segment, which didn't say a lot, but we know where they went to. That was great. And the Ricochet JD McDonagh match humped all the way. 10 out of 10 episode of Monday Night Raw. I want this to continue going into Brooklyn next week. But I've been Matt the Misfit. This has been the Misfit Wrestling Podcast. I will see you guys back here for the Dynamite review. Until then, we're out.